where right to repair and right to own can be brought into the public consciousness in a very big way. What I've noticed over the past 13 years is that nobody cares about your problems, and they most certainly don't care about mine. People care about problems when they're personally affected by them. I can talk about right to repair until I'm blue in the face. Nobody gives a shit. I talked to a senator who was told by the Genius Bar they have to spend $900 to fix their computer when the only issue with it is a broken fan, and that's a senator co-sponsoring a right to repair bill. People care about problems when they're personally affected by those problems. And right now, people are being personally affected by those problems that are much more powerful and influential than you or I. That is at the Army and the Navy within the United States, and we are starting to get some traction, not just in the House, but also in the Senate, where people are just listening to these stories and they are aggravated by them. I want you to listen to this piece of testimony while the United States Secretary of the Navy is speaking to the Senate Armed Services Committee.
What we do makes no sense to me, okay? And so I am a huge supporter of right to repair. I went on the Ford carrier. They had 8 ovens. This is a ship that serves 15,300 meals a day. Only 2 were working, 6 were out. And I said, you've got 5,300 people on the ship. You're telling me someone can't fix an oven? We got a lot of engineers. We can, but we need to wait for the contractor to get out. I asked the question about our elevators. If an elevator go out, what happens? We've got to call Huntington. They've got to call the 4 other people. They have to come out and diagnose the problem, and then they'll fix it. It is crazy. We should be able to fix this. We need to really try to ensure going forward we control our IP and we have the ability to fix things, because if we're in a fight, how do we fix it then? Senator, I agree we need to have the right to repair our ship.
Do you support Congress passing a law that will help you negotiate repair rights at a fair and reasonable price?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
You hear the tone in his voice? You hear how much he dislikes this? Now listen to the Secretary of the Army speaking to the House Armed Services Committee.
I kind of talk about this line of effort, which has strong bipartisan support. Monopolies and corporate abuses of power in our defense sector have undermined our military readiness. They have been a prolific driver of waste, fraud, and abuse, and they've really hurt American small businesses. You, Secretary Driscoll, have prioritized one of the most pernicious corporate practices, the monopolization of repair, in the Army Transformation Initiative. You have committed to ensuring that existing or future contract is going to include a right to repair for our military and our service members. Is that right?
Very explicitly, Congresswoman, on a go-forward basis, we have been directed to not sign any contracts that don't give us a right to repair. On a go-back basis, we have been directed to go and do what we can to go get that right to repair. And I can say on a personal, how important I think this is. We hope that anyone listening to us who hopes to pitch us a contract going forward will look back at their previous agreements they've signed with us. And if they're unwilling to give us that right to repair, I think we're gonna have a hard time negotiating with them. When we tour bases, you see pieces of equipment that can be upwards of $2-3 million that will be unused for a year at a time because it's something that we can 3D print for a cost of $2 to $20. And beyond just the sinfulness of not using that asset, the American soldiers see that and they're not able to use it, and that is incredibly demoralizing. And so this is a virtuous cycle that I think benefits us in a lot of ways.
And can you commit that you'll work with this committee on a bipartisan basis to codify a right to repair for our military and service members?
I can commit that it is an incredibly important topic, and I would do whatever I can personally and in this role to help.
I like what they're trying to do. Now, this is something that we had actually tried to do many, many times. I've brought up this issue of military right to repair back in 2019, 2021, 2023, and earlier this year. But we're finally starting to get some traction here. This was from the Secretary of the Army a few months ago. This is in a memo. It says, identify and propose contract modifications for right to repair provisions. And there's also a bill that has recently been brought up. This, unfortunately, I believe, had a no vote on it. This didn't really go anywhere. This was in December of 2024. However, we are going to be getting a new one soon. This is something that I'm very, very happy about, because there's a lot of waste in the military budget when it comes to right to repair, or just in being able to source things in general. 7,493% markup on a soap dispenser, $71 for a pin. There are 2 senators that could not be further opposites from each other, Tim Sheehy and Elizabeth Warren, and they are going to be proposing a bipartisan bill that I would like to get some support behind, because if we can get right to repair in the military, then maybe it's easier to start shifting the culture and getting more people to understand the issue and actually start getting right to repair for normal devices. This is a sad article. The inside story of how the Navy spent billions on a little crappy ship. Like, this is... It's just bad. It's all bad. I would like to see this bill gain some traction because I'm a taxpayer, which means I don't like seeing the military budget go up by $300 billion and not having a clue what the hell we're getting for it. And B, I like the idea of being able to fix what we bought and paid for. If people that are in wheelchairs can fix their stuff, if people that fix medical devices can fix their stuff, if people that are on farms can fix tractors, if people can fix their military equipment, it all bodes better for right to repair as a whole. At the end of the day, we're all under the same umbrella and we're all getting fucked. If I stop my brother from getting screwed, I too one day may stop getting screwed. That's the way I see it. If you take a look, this is going to be a bit of an uphill battle. It's going to require some convincing because when you see the people donating to the politicians on these armed services committees, we got Lockheed Martin, need I say more? Some of the names you may not be familiar with. Huntington Ingalls, primary builder of U.S. Navy aircraft carriers and submarines, which you may have heard the Secretary of the Navy mention there. Seaman Composites, manufacturer of advanced composites for U.S. military vessels. General Dynamics, top UF5 U.S. defense contractors. APAC, I'm not even gonna fucking get into that one in this video. Needless to say, they are gonna need some convincing if they are going to vote yes on this. And at the end of the day, no matter how much money they get towards their re-election campaign from these companies, they don't get voted into office unless you vote for them. So what I would like you to all to do, if you could help me, go to the video description, scroll down. You're gonna see a list of names, and then you're gonna see URLs to how you could contact them. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go, do I live in any of these states? If you do, you click. B, you are going to then take their contact information. And then C, you are going to write them something. You are going to say something along the lines of this. Dear Senator, whatever the hell, I believe in right to repair. Right to repair says that you should be able to fix what you bought and paid for. This is being taken away everywhere. I can't fix what I bought and paid for, and now the military can't either. We don't like fraud, waste, and abuse. We are trying to find ways to cut down on fraud, waste, and abuse. Being able to fix things means not wasting billions of dollars on things that are not working. I would like to see right to repair for the military. I believe in this. Kindly let me know how you will be voting on this 1 or 2 months from now when a bill comes out so that I know how to vote in the next primary or general election. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. I'm not going to give you a copy and paste thing because if I do, it's going to look like 50 or 1,000 people all wrote the same thing, which then begs the question of whether you're bots or somebody else is just telling you to say something rather than you believing in it. You need to write it for yourself. And frankly, if you've been watching this channel for 12 years, you should know what to say. It doesn't have to be genius. It doesn't have to be 8 pages, just something very simple. I am a voter in your district. I believe in right to repair. I do not like to see that the military is getting screwed in this way. I see that there is a right to repair bill coming up. I would like to know how you are voting. I hope you vote yes. Signed, a voter. I'm going to ask you to do that for me because that's the only way that this is going to get any better. Something I've noticed, and I know a lot of people are going to say, push back, but it is true. Politicians will actually vote the way that their constituents want them to vote. The problem is that nobody shows up and tells them this, so they just don't care. Most of the right to repair hearings I've been to, there's 2 people there. There's like me, Nathan Proctor, and one other dude. And sometimes there's just nobody there to begin with. So when you have 15 lobbyists that show up that explain why it is they should not do something, and they are coming from all of these different groups because they are very well organized. And then you have us with nobody who shows up, who do you think wins? Look at the lies that they are telling here. Like one of the things that I found interesting. Section 828 will require contractors to provide repair materials at prices equivalent to the most favorable prices offered by the manufacturer's authorized dealers, including all discounts and rebates. Many large OEMs do not sell parts directly, but rather rely on authorized dealers to serve customers in their local communities. Section 828's price mandates on OEMs would ultimately fall on these dealers, significantly altering the economics of the dealer distribution model by effectively eliminating dealer margins. This would harm the network of manufacturers and authorized dealers, many of whom are small and medium-sized businesses that the department ultimately relies on, compromising the very readiness this provision is ostensibly intended to enhance. This is complete bullshit. When I talk about what the issues are in my industry, I don't want to pay $1,000 for a motherboard. I want to pay $15 for the broken chip. When I pay $15 for the broken chip, Mouser, who has bought that chip for $1 from Texas Instruments, is happy to sell it to me for $15 because they're making $15. Texas Instruments, who's making that chip for 2 cents, is happy to sell it to Mouser.com for $1 because that means that they have just made 1,000% profit. It is very, very simple for there to be a supply chain.
The USS Gravely. I think it's really important that, you know, the president and the secretary have made very clear 100% operational control of our southern border. I mean, we've got probably close to 10,000 troops on our southern border. We're surging a Stryker brigade combat team down there to reinforce the land border as well. But there's a sea component to this as well, and that's part of the mission of the USS Gravely is to secure the water routes in defense of our southern border. And so, Aaron, Daily Caller.
Thank you, Sean. Will the Department of Defense commit to firing or otherwise disciplining any remaining leadership that were directly involved in the Afghanistan withdrawal?
So we're in the process of figuring out what that investigation will look like. But I'll tell you, as somebody who served in Afghanistan and watched that unfold, I mean, I was horrified in a lot of ways. You know, you think about how much time and blood and treasure and American life that was lost in Afghanistan over 20 years. You think about that for a second. You know, I'm 43 years old. This country was at war in Afghanistan for 20 years. So almost half of my life, this country was at war in Afghanistan. And I personally watched, you know, the men in my platoon, but also my larger brigade combat team, which was a part of the 10th Mountain Division, 3rd Brigade. We bled the ground red in Afghanistan. And I watched my men do extraordinary things in support of a grateful nation and in support of the mission there. And to watch Afghanistan be surrendered in the way that it was extremely difficult. And I think something that President Trump and Secretary Hegseth really understand is that when America makes a decision to get involved in any conflict, we have a moral obligation to have a clear-cut end state to what that operation looks like, a clear exit strategy to what that operation looks like, and to make sure that victory is clearly defined. And I think in Iraq and certainly in Afghanistan over the last 20 some years, I think maybe we've struggled a little bit with those finer points. But I'll say that the President Trump and Secretary Hegseth, they understand that when America gets involved in a fight, it's our job to also end that fight as fast as humanly possible, because we have a moral obligation to win and win decisively. Otherwise, you're going to have an entire generation of American warriors wondering what the hell it was all for. And I know that every day I wake up and I draw breath, I think about the men who I served with, who were my friends, who never came home from that fight. I've lost 30 friends in my support of the Afghan war, 30. And you ask yourself, you look yourself in the mirror, you ask yourself, what do we have to show for it? Not a whole lot. And so to your question of will people be held accountable? I think we have an obligation both to the American people and to the American warfighters who fought in Afghanistan to hold the leadership accountable in some way. Now, we don't know what that looks like right now, but to hold the leadership that was in charge of the Afghan withdrawal accountable. Because look, if you have a private that loses a sensitive item, that loses night vision goggles, that loses a weapon, you can bet that that private is going to be held accountable. The same and equal standards must apply to senior military leaders. So
I just want to follow up on what you just said.
Sure.
You said that, there needs to be a clear end state. And I know the goal is to have the Houthis stop their attacks, but what is the end state? What happens if the Houthis don't stop their attacks or don't agree to say they'll stop their attacks? It doesn't seem like there is a clear end state, that this could just go on and on.
Well, in fairness, I mean, it's a great question, but in fairness, the operation's only been going on for 48 hours. And the president and secretary have been very clear on this, that the Houthis can determine when this ends. And until then, the campaign will be unrelenting until we, one, protect our homeland, and two, open up the shipping lanes there. So make sure that we have freedom of maneuver in that area. But General, you have something that.
But I mean, what I might add is, while we won't talk about it publicly, just know that there is a design to the operation. There are specific effects that we're trying to achieve, and there's specific targets that have been selected and approaches that we're taking in order to achieve the president's end state. So it isn't that we're just striking capabilities. There's an intent behind every strike and every target that we go after.
So that point, what is you mentioned that this is not like it was before. So what is different about the targeting that you're doing this time that wasn't true under the Biden administration?
Yeah, I give the short answer to that, and again, without going into too many operational details for security reasons, but it's a much broader set of targets that we've been able to action in this case. And the other key differences are the delegation of authorities from the president through Secretary Hegseth down to the operational commander. So that allows us to achieve a tempo of operations where we can react to opportunities that we see on the battlefield in order to continue to put pressure on the Houthis.
Thank you very much. Will this operation include sending ground troops into Yemen? If so, how do you achieve your objective of making them say enough without sending ground troops?
Well, I'll tell you, it's very difficult, if not impossible, for us to talk about force posture from this podium because as a commander who's been on the battlefield, it's very, very important to keep the enemy guessing, keep your adversaries guessing. Now, that's not to say that we've got ground troops in Yemen. That's not to say that we're sending ground troops in, but it's difficult to talk about that stuff for operational security reasons from the podium. But generally, you have anything to add?
No, nothing to add to that. I think that's exactly right.
Sean, can I follow up on that? You said that that one of the things that you were waiting to do for the VDA was sensitive site exploitation. Does that include U.S. boots on the ground or any kind of American personnel on the ground to do that?
Can't talk about that stuff from the podium, but we have ways of conducting sensitive site exploitations without ground troops on the
Yeah,
ground.
it does not always require boots on the ground, and I'll just leave it at that.
So
Can I also ask you about if there's any U.S. military assessment? I know that you're still on, the VDA is ongoing, but is there any military assessment about how much of the Houthis' capabilities were degraded by these first couple of rounds? And can you say anything? The President's Truth Social mentioned going after leaders, which seems to be one of the things that's different here. Can you say anything about any of the leaders that were targeted here?
Yeah, on the second part of the question, I'll just go to my opening statement where I mentioned that there was a unmanned aerial vehicle facility that was struck with several key leaders. Those were key individuals who led their unmanned aerial vehicle enterprise and were some of the technical experts in there. So think those types of individuals that we might be targeting as part of the command and control. In the past. Today, the operation continues, and it will continue in the coming days until we achieve the President's objectives.
Ikera? Anyone who have a Nightwing can play. Everyone can join. Okay, silver. Okay, I forgot the name. Warcry. Warcry, thank you for advising me. Oh. Silver's name is Kasuna. Tsuna. No, it's a cosplay, sorry. Only PC. Silver is silver, okay? Silver いるか？Okay, I can't see silver. Okay, I listen. Sorry. No, what's his team name? Silver. Okay, Silver. Silver and Silver best. Sounds same. Silver and Silver. No. For super newbie team, I can't play with Gitaro Saku. I have to choose the strong Saku. Comment okay. Comment. This raid is really super duper strong, this character. Super duper strong, super duper strong. Strong. Cute. Super strong. Cute. Big. I don't know. Sometimes strong, sometimes weak. Oh. Oh, no. Sabu Katana is very good for newbie. Sabu Katana is good for beginners. It's okay. Tanjori, Sakuindus. I know everything about this game. I was looking for a drink. Everybody stay calm. Stay tight. I wish about this game. Nobody panic. Nobody panic. There's no panic. No!
先生、作、ソンム、ロズ、クラッシュ、ゲーム、の、ワリーズ、ジス、イズ、カート、オブ、ゼ。サクサクサクサクちゃん好き。安くてすごいよ、サクパワー。
Don't worry. I know you wish about this game.
作電気でお任せサク。サクちゃんサクちゃんでいい。電気も未来もサク。サクちゃんサクちゃんでいい。電気も未来もサクにお任せ。サクちゃんサクちゃんでいい。電気も未来もサクにお任せ。ガイズ。ララララララララララ昨今ストアクション昨天卒安心安全任せてねキラキラ光る平和の橋は策の力で今日も伸びる笑顔で運ぶ石一つみんなの夢をつなぐ橋策の波が一つになって未来のために力を出そうこの橋は策の誇り幸せつなぐ希望の道策は捧げるそのために青く揺れる水の下で
Okay.
It's okay, 先生 You must be tired.
あ
Okay. Oh, nice.
あ
If you play im bad.
This is the crash point. This is the crash point. Go. Okay.
Wait. パソコン
Okay. Okay.
ミュージックイズゼカズ前でわらわら何回知らねエージオーエジジジゴミシェーベルビクサクソングレッツゴーミュージックトデイわらわらマイオーダーハドイチクラッシュディレイわらわらサドミュージックバトエージゴー
Nice. And the marching start is the crash point.
ビクトリー4ゼサクエスパソコンくんの HP はもうゼロなんやね
頼む。頼む。Please. サクサク。サクは。
グロリー4ゼサクエムパイアサクプレイ
Second crash point.
アイアスクゼ
Prepare for the second crash point.
オンとクラッシュマイオド
PG 君もだいぶやばいですし。
先生ノーズエブリシングアバウトジスゲーム先生 KKK ヘルプねえ
Don't panic. I know everything. Oh, this is all the plan. Oh, okay, this is a crash point. This is a crash point. Please. Help. Oh. Up. Oh. Oh. Eh. Ah. Oh. Okay. Come here. Come here. Come here. Cool. あれ、こっちあったっけ？あ、遠回り気がする。遠回りな気がする。あ、マジか。こっちか、まあいいか、こっち行くか。こっちちょっと画像はね。Help! Oh god, don't punch! Save me! Oh. Okay.これはやばいね。僕はもう大体サークルスタッフには任しちゃってるが。あ、ボーレムか。Okay. Okay. Let's go inside here. What? Suck punch! Suck punch! Suck punch! Suck punch! Suck punch! Yeah! Suck punch! Suck punch! I'm dead. Suck punch! Suck punch! Ah! Suck punch! Suck punch! Ah! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! They lost us! Oh my god, Suck Ranger losing us! Okay, come here, come here. The pin here. Oh wow, sorry, I'm sorry. Down here. Let's go here, let's go here. More say. Dark Ranger not following. I watch my back. Oh. What? Ah. Ah. How did he get? えあわわわわわわ。Okay, come here, come here. Okay. Oh, yeah. I have to wait, you guys will select. This way. I was choosing too fast. My bad. After this. First here. Okay, okay.石鹸の鍵も手に入はそねえら。おい。わっ。うわっ。ハリー、ミーンです。お、いいね。いいね。貴族回復。ほら。ほら。I think so. Ouch! Ouch! Bossa. 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 ラランララン、come, it's okay.
タイム10ソロラン
Oh, stop, come, it's okay. Don't worry. Don't cry. It has to be afraid, go cry. Don't worry, I'm amused about this game. Oh, I'm dying! I'm dead! I'm a party. Come on, I party. Got the way. あれほら。ほら。ほら。ナイスパーティー。あら、オッケー。Oops. What? What? Don't worry, I'm always about this game. Ugh. あれGet it up here. Okay. We can find a more. はい。どこ行くねん。どこ行く。どこ行くんだてね。どこ行くんだてね。Okay, let's go. あれ入った。I wait a minute. No, no, no. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Queer. Go let go. かな。これ。OK?
「
troops. Hmm. Skufko. こっち何がいいんだ？ドラゴンか。まあ、やるか？いや、無理か？やめるか。で雑魚が一緒か。OK。サクエクスプロージョン。あかんし。雷は効かねえから、これだね。Okay, it is time, Sunk Rangers. Noe. This shield can't dodge anything. It's gone now. Oh, hey. Please don't crash. Okay, Sakuichi, don't move. Sakuichi, don't move. After loading.
サクポーズショーゼストレンクスボディサクマイトサクポーズ
You can skip it. Don't move because needed crash. Oh. 動くなよ。クラッシュするかもしんねえから。
サクレンジャーズステイスティルわらわら
OK? 行くぞ。
ノーボディムーブズマセルわらわら頑張れ
Go! Don't rush, please. Ah, Shirobano! Hold on. Oh, X! I missed. Yeah, I misclicked too. Yeah, so you have to know the timing how when to run. Timing when to run away. If it's spark, run away. そうなんだよね。やっぱこの足、わからん同士されちゃうから、二人わからん同士でポンポンと死んじゃうから、かなりカバーしきれないのもあるよな。Run away from that boss first. Just run away. Well, yeah. Run away, or if you think you can later, you will die, but you can use like ultimate arts. Okay. You can stop his move, but I think after that you will immediately do the arts again. Last time I stopped him with the arts, but he started the arts again and I died. Yeah, so this is the fun point. So, first just dodge the boss, escape from the boss attack, and you learn. You know what to do after that. Yeah, because this is your second or third time, first or second or third time of the run, boss. Yeah. And get one more? One more? One more will end. Okay. いないな。Where's everybody? Comet, and Comet and Warcry. You can join. Omar wants to join.
アベラベルファイゼメイ
Master, you want so much. You want so much.
ビーバリークリア
Okay, okay.
レート
It's time for soccer beginners.
レンジャーズ
Now, hey, did not play today.
5シルバー5セコンドボスマーリト
Well, I don't know.
ヘイトジスゲーム
Okay, comment, come.
先生セドプレイゲーム先生シルバー リズプロわらわらわらわら
Did not play today.
わらわらリドプレイトデイイエスシルバージョイン先生オッケーエジャケーションプレイとライト先生
Got it.
ヌーバイズサクアテイタナ
It's time for soccer newbies. It's time for soccer losers. But the boss is too strong. I think it's very hard for from software new business.
サクハーストイズ先生フェイバリトナウ
Aku beginner newbie, soccer newbie is my favorite.
サンクユサンクユ
Okay, the request. Where are we? Okay. Okay. No.
エジャケーションムービー テリーゼラバウケノロル
Say hi. 祝福さってどっか行くか。
ユカンイゼベースゲームゾーンマスター シルバー
Maybe this was too strong. 알아. 내가 간대까. Okay, retreat, retreat. 더 레벨 나갔네. 아! 레벨업 here. Okay. Terry Hano this time. Oh. Whoa. 우와. 이속에 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 スーツ。ありできるよ、これ。うん。これがマカナテロだ。タワーの仲間。オプス。It's lagging, so I cannot take the damage if I hit first. Even if I hit first. What's up? Come this way, come this way.マジか。This is not good. Okay, I'll check what is here. Okay, ダメだ。トロールか。やべえ。This is bad. Oh well. Okay, this is not good. You guys fight here, you guys fight here. Okay, let's see. Oh, I do go. It's coming. It's coming. がサクサクスーパーハーアウチアウチI'm reading them. Until うまい。はい。サクサクスーパーハーOkay, it's now. Oops. I think it's not good, but it hurts. This really hurts. This really hurts. This really hurts and we have no grace. How would you help? One. Double kill. Abuja very strong.これマジキモいし、本編ではもう相当強いボスです。ボスですらないんだよな。雑魚キャラとして湧いてくるんだよ。まだレベル8か。ちょっと低いな。ツボ野郎マジ。ツボ野郎マジ美味しくないんだよな。 どっちってね。若い若いすいまん若い。危ねえ。わべべっとっと。いやーいやー。Okay, let's go. なんか落ちちゃった。シールド欲しい。しかねえんか。シールド。痛い助けてふう。あ、シールドあった。行くぞ。だ、こっち倒すか一回。いらねえ。オッケー。オッケー。いいじゃん。いいじゃん。あ、not this here. We jump here. 僕らい僕らいオッケー。ああ、thank you, thank you. サクラーンサクダッシュ 熱い。おい、いい加減にしろ。おい。もう早くいい加減にしろ。オッケー。熱い。Oh. Okay, we don't have enough level.
アリシナリー、はい、バズ、TIX5、バキム、先生、アンド、ゼン、アイ、パウンド、ハ、ラスト、チュー、モンス、アゲン、アイス、ストーリーム、エニ、アーティスト、ストリームズ、ワラワラ、バイ、09。
リラップしないといけないから、とザコ狩りしないといけないね。Be safe. Just be safe. Oh, 誰もいないのか。どうでしょう。 見たくないなと思って。もう絵柄とか読めれるいいかな。絵柄かコンセプトは違うから。コンセプト日本画のたまりは境内知事もかっこいい。応援している。私Ouch! Stop talking, Nishiki. Stop asking. Do all. Doesn't really want to be Ouch! まあ、こんなこと言ってもね。危ねえ。レベル足んねえ。Oh no. Maybe this was a bad one. はい。行こう。Let's go, 作品ジュース。Please, please, please. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. クラッシュするな。Skip, skip, skip, skip. Press start buttons. Press start button. Press through. It is time. Yeah. The Ranger, stay calm. You know. I know everything about this game.
The way students study around the
Okay.
world, study until 9, 10, even until midnight sometimes. Then they'll go home, revise again to finish the ludicrous amounts of homework that. So I've been told by my community. If Korea is about long hours, India is about high stakes. Also, I've been told by my community. Here, your entire academic life can be defined by a single exam. The JEE, the NEET, the UPSC. These aren't just hard, they're brutal. Millions sit them every year, but a tiny percentage of them succeeds. So what happens? Kids young as 13 or 14 are preparing years in advance. They go to school during the day, but coaching centers at night. Weekends are used for full test simulations, and even during holidays there's study camps. Education in India isn't just an opportunity, it's survival. It's a path to stability in a country where millions are fighting for limited siege jobs and futures. And what's wild is the consistency is just built in. You'll meet students doing past papers at 6 AM without complaining. Not because they love it, but because that's just how it's always been. It's this tolerance and routine, similarly to Korea, that gives them an edge when it comes to studying. So a really valuable skill you can build. But you should avoid blind memorization, the same burnout we talked about in Korea. Because in the pressure to perform, many fall into the trap of just rote learning as well. Memorizing textbooks, copying all the answers, and no real understanding. So take the grind ethic, but make it meaningful. Actively cause spaced repetition and feedback loops. Focus on something else, but more about doing things as well. Remember, it's like lifting weights without checking your form. Sure, you're working, but are you actually progressing? Now we have the UK. 2 AM pass with the scrum with no real understanding, and it's just vibes, and it's honestly kind of a trap. Exams are coming up, you're revising for 5 hours straight the night before the exam, surviving on energy drinks and then revising. Who's kind of used this from the very start. They teach revision. Most people's like, hey, it's something else. It's not loud, it's not dramatic. It's quiet, focused, but relentless. You walk into a Japanese high school library after lunch, everyone's just working in silence. And a lot of students, because they grow up in a culture that prizes order, patience, and harmony, they study like that. They refine. They don't feel pressure. When you're confused, when you're burnt out, make sure to tell your teacher and ask your friends for help if you need it. Copy the stillness, copy the consistency. If you're feeling stuck, that's when you can always speak up. Top foot, right way. Answer Japan, when the basements of best students take Korea's time blocking, India's consistent, Japan's stillness, France's thinking, Finland's balance, and the UK's passport. Take Korea's time blocking, India's consistent, Japan's stillness, France's thinking, Finland's balance, and the UK's passport. That's why I said India's consistent.
Run! Okay, this time everybody running. Wa. Huh? Huh?
All right, let's go! Yeah! Woo! Yeah! Woo! All right, where we dropping game? All right. Woo! Yeah! Woo! All right, where we dropping gamers?
Guys, where are you? I think I'm lost.
Go, Gadget! Grapple hook! Hiya! Oh! Owie! I'm down! Somebody help me! Ah! All right, that was a close one. I think this time we should all stick together.
I got the
Oh, boy.
tornado.
Guys, I'm lost again.
Wow, I can't believe we made it to day 3. Let's go get it, guys. Yeah, let's get it. Go get it. Yeah. Whoa, big doggy. Oh no. Yeah, you guys really suck.
Oh, well, aren't you adorable and tiny? What's your name?
Oh no.
So a while back, I made a stupid So
ちょっとミスったな。My bad.
Oh, pardon me, thou bleeding piece of earth, that I am meek and gentle with these butchers. Thou art the ruins of the noblest man that ever lived in the tide of times. Woe to the hand that shed this costly blood. Over thy wounds now do I prophesy, which like dumb mouths do ope their ruby lips to beg the voice and utterance of my tongue. A curse shall light upon the limbs of men. Domestic fury and fierce civil strife shall cumber all the parts of Italy. Blood and destruction shall be so in use, and dreadful objects so familiar that mothers shall but smile when they behold their infants quartered with the hands of war. All pity choke with custom of fell deed, and Caesar's spirit, ranging for revenge with Ate by his side, come hot from hell, shall in these confines with a monarch's voice cry, Heaven! And let slip the dogs of war. That this foul deed shall smell above the earth, with carrion men groaning for burial.
There's the blue thing on the field. Yeah, this thing. Yeah. A thin thing like this. Yeah, outburst because a super deep lightning attack will come. After that, the tornado will hurt everyone in the area. Escape in the tornado. So you have to go in the tornado. Oh yeah. So tomorrow, you guys have to search the blue thing first. Yeah, jump in. Go, Sakun. Then, and all the Sakurincher and me and other Sakurincher was learning like that. First time, die first. After that, die with the tornado. And the third challenge, you're gonna realize you have to jump in the tornado, so it's a normal progress. Ah. So, for master, we have to play 3 little Saku with that boss. Ah. Are there one people who can play Little Saku? Anyone can join the Little Saku challenge. 3 Little Saku versus the super duper boss. では、Thank you. 来撃のタイミングがもう分かっている。来撃はあれなんだよね、そう。来撃はもうみんなダッシュでいてんだけど、まあ、竜巻にまだ、あと新人たちは分かってる。新人はまだ竜巻の中に入る方法分かっていないから、竜巻の外で死んでた。あ、これいいな。これじゃん。あ、見てなかった。ほはお。おの。え。あれ？青か。あ、これな。ダメージ一部返す。これが強いんだよな。ゴミ。あ、ゴミか。ちょっとはいいか。ゴミ。アローレイ、出血回数。あ、すぐ5に。よ 出血耐性どうしても欲しかったんですけどか。Oh boy.
こんにちは、斉藤直樹です。今日の書き込みが引き出しきなかないでも何でもいいんです。崩しを意識するといいと思います。あと次の見ましょうか。アップしているのがお分かりいただけませんでしょうか。どうでしょうか。別にですね、ほとんど何かを書き足したわけでもないし、書き直したわけでもないのに、絵としてのね、力がアップしているのがお分かりいただけませんでしょうか。梅谷さんの絵はですね、デザインが問題なわけじゃないんです。キャラクターデザインはいいと思います。ただ、その魅力を梅谷さんの書き込みが引き出しきれてないだけだと思います。自分のデザインを信じましょう。そしてね、絵に語りかけるんです。君はもっと魅力的になれるはずだ。僕がその魅力をもっと引き出してあげるからね。ってね、話しかけながら、特に最後、書き込みを続けてみてください。きっともっともっと魅力的なキャラクターにできると思います。白飛びしていくような感じがしますので、ちょっとね、情報やってみます。ちょっとしたことなんですけどね、ちょっと白飛びしすぎたら少し加筆してあげるだけで、なんか触れそうっていう手触りを追加。的な雰囲気にもなりますし、顔の部分にあんまり目がいかないってことです。もっと具体的に言うと、なんというか顔がね、ちょっとね、目力分かりやすいように目線を若干こちら側に向けていますが、タイトルがね、こぼれたなので、こぼれた花びらに目線をあえて向けているのかもしれません。周りるでしょ。これとこれ、さあどのくらい良くないかっていうと、せっかく一生懸命作ったら、このままキャラクターが少しだけ明るいとかやってみます。特化したコツが知りたければ、
How does Mark Antony persuade the crowd? So here's some context. Brutus and his buddies, who are Roman politicians, have just murdered Julius Caesar, who was a very popular and successful Roman general. They've killed Caesar because, well, it's complicated, but basically they feel threatened by Caesar's popularity. To illustrate, at one point in the play, Brutus compares Caesar to a serpent's egg. He explains that right now, Caesar is vulnerable, but eventually he'll become deadly. So the sooner they kill him, the better. Brutus and his buddies assassinate Julius Caesar, and the Roman people want answers. We will be satisfied, they say. In other words, tell us what's going on. Brutus then delivers a speech to an audience of Roman people, logically explaining why Caesar had to be killed. Believe it or not, the Roman people buy it. After the speech, they find nothing wrong with Brutus's actions and they support Caesar's murder. So everything seems fine and dandy. Despite Caesar's popularity, Brutus has killed him and convinced the Roman people that the murder is justified. Here's the thing. Mark Antony, another Roman politician, is not happy about any of this. He's a loyal friend to Julius Caesar and can't let Brutus get away with murder. Mark Antony is faced with two difficult problems. First, he is surrounded by Brutus and other murderous politicians. He is heartbroken over Caesar's death, but he can't be outspoken about it. He needs to appear as if he agrees with the murder, or he's at risk of being murdered himself. Second, the Roman people seem convinced by Brutus's speech. They side with Brutus and are celebrating Caesar's death. Mark Antony would rather that the people were on his side and outraged by Caesar's murder. So what does Mark Antony do? Well, he needs to appear as if he agrees with the murderers and persuade the Romans that Caesar's murder was unjustified. This seems an impossible task with two contradictory objectives, but incredibly, Mark Antony succeeds, and his success is undoubtedly a shining moment in Shakespeare's play. Now that you have some context, let's go back in time to the moment when Caesar has just been killed. Mark Antony is basically standing over Caesar's dead body, chatting with the murderers. It's definitely an awkward situation. Mark Antony shakes each of the murderers' hands and tells them that although he loved Caesar, surely there are good reasons why Caesar was murdered. He's pretending to side with them so that they grant him a favor. He then politely asks Brutus if he might say a few words to the Roman people about Caesar. Mark Antony wishes to give a speech. Cassius, one of the murderers, is suspicious and says privately to Brutus, "Do not consent," that Antony speaks in his funeral. Know you how much the people may be moved by that which he will utter? Cassius is worried that Mark Antony's speech will be so emotionally charged that he will inspire the Romans to revolt in anger in response to Caesar's murder. Brutus replies, "I will myself into the pulpit first, and show the reason of our Caesar's death." Brutus will deliver a speech before Mark Antony's speech, and Brutus has confidence that he will get the Romans on his side, and as a result, Mark Antony's speech will be inconsequential. Brutus then delivers a speech to the Roman people, logically explaining why Caesar had to be killed, and the Roman people eat it up. They support Brutus and Caesar's murder. Then it's Mark Antony's turn. And remember, and I apologize for repeating myself, but this is such an important detail to understand the speech, Mark Antony needs to appear as if he agrees with the murderers, while persuading the Romans that Caesar's murder was unjustified. Let's look at 7 ways Mark Antony convinces the Roman people that Caesar's death was unjustified and that as a result, they should revolt. He takes a gentle approach. He repeats the words honorable and ambitious. He provides examples of Caesar's good character. He uses rhetorical questions. He makes the Romans feel guilty. He teases Caesar's will. And finally, he humanizes Caesar and brutally describes his dead body. Let's talk about each of these points in more detail, one by one. A gentle approach. Before Mark Antony begins speaking, the Romans are riled up by Brutus's speech. They're saying things like, "This Caesar was a tyrant," and "We are blessed that Rome is rid of him." The average Roman imagines Caesar as evil and is ready to pounce on anybody who contradicts this view. So Mark Antony can't come out and say Caesar was amazing, or the people would turn against him. He needs a gentle approach to convince them. Therefore, Mark Antony plays a delicate game with his words, walking a tightrope. He begins by giving indications that he is on the Roman people's side. He greets them kindly, as friends, Romans, countrymen, but more importantly, he assures them that he is not going to defend Caesar. He says, "I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him." Then he says, "The noble Brutus hath told you Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously hath Caesar answered it." These words would seem to suggest that Mark Antony agrees with Brutus and the Roman people, but there are a few key phrases here, which gently prod his audience into sympathizing with Caesar. The phrase, "if it were so," which translates to "if it were true," opens room for doubt. Was Caesar really that ambitious? And the phrase, "grievously has Caesar answered it," suggests that Caesar's punishment, death, was too harsh and out of proportion. These phrases are only hints, meager suggestions, but they plant the seed in the Romans' minds that Caesar might not have been as bad as they think he was. Mark Antony sprinkles hints like these throughout the first half of his speech, each of which works a subtle magic on the Romans, leading them to side with Caesar. Now let's talk about repetition of the words honorable and ambitious. In the first 34 lines of his speech, Mark Antony uses the words ambitious and honorable 5 times each. These are 2 key adjectives that fuel the Romans' hatred for Caesar. After all, Brutus says that Caesar's out-of-control ambition is why he needed to be murdered, and this murder is legitimate because Brutus is an honorable man. Let's first talk about the repetition of the word ambitious in the following lines. But Brutus says he was ambitious, line 90. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, line 97. And word for word, exactly like line 97, yet Brutus says he was ambitious, line 102. Each time Mark Antony describes Caesar as ambitious, it is contextualized as hearsay, as mere opinion. He doesn't say Caesar was ambitious, but rather Brutus says he was ambitious. Without being forceful or overly direct, this opens the door to the interpretation that Brutus is wrong. Brutus is just one person with one opinion. Maybe he's wrong. What do other people say? What does Mark Antony say? Mark Antony's repetition of the word honorable undermines Brutus's argument in a different way. Consider these lines. For Brutus is an honorable man, line 86. And Brutus is an honorable man, line 91. And Brutus is an honorable man, line 98. And sure, he is an honorable man, 103. In this case, each time Mark Antony describes Brutus as honorable, it's not contextualized as hearsay. It's spoken directly, which you would think gives credence to the idea that Brutus is, indeed, an honorable man. Thing is, this constant repetition leads to an effect like semantic satiation, which is when you repeat a word so many times that it loses its meaning. I can remember doing this with my friends in the schoolyard, repeating a word again and again without pause until it didn't seem like a word anymore, but just a meaningless noise. Well, you can imagine the same thing is happening here. Mark Antony repeats the word honorable so many times that his audience becomes numb to its meaning. The 8th time Mark Antony uses the word honorable, a Roman, remarking on Brutus and his co-conspirators, shouts, "They were traitors, honorable men." At this point, the Roman people are in on the joke, so to speak, and the word honorable has been tainted. It becomes code to mean malicious and disloyal. Examples of Caesar's good character. Mark Antony provides 3 key examples, either events in Caesar's life or his behaviors, to prove that Caesar was not ambitious, but rather humble and generous. Example 1. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? Example 2. When that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Example 3. You all did see that on the Lupercal I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? I like to think of Mark Antony's speech as having two dimensions. He appeals to both the Romans' minds and hearts, their reason and their emotion. These examples provide a factual basis upon which Mark Antony sprinkles rhetorical techniques that appeal to his audience's emotions, like repetition or rhetorical questions. And that leads me into this way in which Mark Antony persuades the crowd, by using rhetorical questions. In brief, rhetorical questions are questions that don't require answers. They're asked for effect, to place emphasis on some point. Hey, I have a free ticket to the hockey game this evening. Do you want to come with me? Is the sky blue? Of course I want to go with you. The question, do you want to come with me, requires an answer. The sky is obviously blue. So asking, is the sky blue, is another way of saying, obviously I will accept your free ticket. It's a rhetorical question because it's asked for effect to place emphasis on the point that the answer is certainly yes. In two of the previous examples, Mark Antony asks rhetorical questions. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? And was this ambition? Neither question requires an answer. Caesar, obviously, does not come across as ambitious for trying to bring wealth to the state, nor does he come across as ambitious for refusing the crown. The last line of Mark Antony's speech includes a rhetorical question. He says, "Here was a Caesar. When comes such another?" The answer to this question is obvious. There will never be another Caesar. In fact, in response to this question, a Roman, bursting with emotion, shouts out, "Never, never." And so, Mark Antony's rhetorical questions give his audience an opportunity to participate in his speech and strengthen his message. Now let's talk about guilt tripping. Although Brutus convinces many Romans to hate Caesar and to believe that he deserved death, Mark Antony knows that these same Romans have celebrated Caesar in the past. He says, "You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you, then, to mourn for him?" Mark Antony is pointing out the hypocrisy. You loved Caesar for good reason in the past, so why aren't you sad now that he's dead? Mark Antony takes it a step further and says, "O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason." This is daring. He insults his audience, but recovers by apologizing, asking them to have patience with him, for he is deeply saddened by Caesar's death. "Bear with me," he says. "My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me." The Roman people, accused of hypocrisy, of being unfeeling animals, witness Mark Antony's display of emotion, his vulnerability, and it affects them, inspires guilt. Mark Antony rubs it in, later saying, referring to Caesar, "Now he lies there, and none so poor to do him reverence." Mark Antony might as well be saying, "Feel bad, my fellow Romans. Feel bad about yourselves, and feel terrible about Caesar's death." Teasing the will. Mark Antony's speech really heats up when he introduces Caesar's will, a document Caesar wrote in the event of his death, detailing his final wishes. For the Romans, this will quickly become a source of mystery and excitement. Mark Antony casually introduces it and then builds it up, describing how much the Romans will love Caesar after hearing his will. Mark Antony pretends to resist the urge to read the will, in fear that their emotions will be too intense. But here's a parchment with the seal of Caesar. I found it in his closet. 'Tis his will. Let but the commons hear this testament, which, pardon me, I do not mean to read. And they would go and kiss dead Caesar's wounds, and dip their napkins in his sacred blood. Yea, beg a hair of him for memory, and, dying, mention it within their wills, bequeathing it as a rich legacy unto their issue. In the end, Mark Antony reveals that Caesar has left the Romans money and parts of his private estate, which serves to further galvanize them into action against Brutus. Finally, let's talk about how Mark Antony humanizes Caesar and describes his dead body. Mark Antony compels his audience to think of Caesar as a man, not as an idea or a celebrity, but as a regular human with frailties and friends. It's important to note that when Brutus delivers his speech, Caesar's dead body is hidden away. But Mark Antony brings it with him, speaking while Caesar's bloody dead body is present on display for the Romans to see. Caesar was stabbed 23 times, each murderer taking a turn, and Mark Antony remarks on each knife wound and who among the conspirators delivered it. He says,
and try and remove that flexibility, what Virtus Pro have been leaning on very heavily, and they do exactly that, forcing Virtus Pro out of the little comfort zone they've set up for themselves in these last two series.
Oh.
Look, in this This place ran Cassius's dagger through. See what a rent the envious Casca made. Through this the well-beloved Brutus stabbed. Now the Romans can see for themselves how brutally Caesar was murdered. Mark Antony goes an extra step. He wants the Romans to see the dead body of a friend, not a military general. He says, "He was my friend, faithful and just to me." And he provides an excerpt from a personal anecdote. "You all do know this mantle. I remember the first time ever Caesar put it on. 'Twas on a summer's evening in his tent. That day he overcame the Nervi. So let's review the 7 different ways Mark Antony convinces the Roman people that Caesar's death was unjustified. He takes a gentle approach. He repeats the words honorable and ambitious. He provides examples of Caesar's good character. He uses rhetorical questions. He makes the Romans feel guilty. He teases Caesar's will. And finally, he humanizes Caesar and brutally describes his dead body. There's so much more I could say. Look for Mark Antony's false humility in lines 122 to 141, or more examples of gory imagery in the description of Caesar's body from lines 175 to 198. Don't forget, this is all just one person's opinion on how Mark Antony persuades the crowd. I hope you enjoyed my take, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.